Have you ever wondered why some men can walk into a room and instantly shift the energy without saying a single word? Women glance, they whisper, they feel something. And yet most men never learn this invisible power. They spend years chasing approval, sending long texts trying to prove their worth. But here's the truth. Attraction isn't about effort. It's about energy. There are 9 hidden weaknesses every woman carries, invisible triggers that even she doesn't fully understand. And when a man learns how to embody masculine control, emotional depth, and stoic calmness, he doesn't need to chase. She starts chasing him, not because he's perfect, but because he makes her feel something no other man can. These aren't tricks. They're stoic truths that separate boys from men, the laws of emotional gravity that pull women toward masculine strength. Once you understand them, women won't just look at you differently. They'll feel you differently. 1. Her weakness for emotional mystery. A woman's mind craves emotional puzzles. She's drawn to the man she can't fully understand, the one whose silence carries stories she can't read. That's why mystery is one of her deepest weaknesses. When a man reveals everything too soon, he kills curiosity. But when he speaks less, moves with purpose, and leaves parts of himself hidden, she becomes addicted to decoding him. Her imagination fills in the blanks, often creating a fantasy more powerful than reality. Mystery isn't about being distant. It's about being disciplined. It's knowing what to say and what not to. The stoic man never overshares his emotions to seek validation. He allows silence to speak for him. He knows that mystery is magnetic because it creates space for wonder. In that space, she projects desire, fascination, and intrigue. In psychology, this is called the curiosity gap. Women are emotional thinkers. They need something to chase, something unknown to explore. A man who is too predictable gives her no emotional tension, but the one who keeps her guessing ignites her obsession, because the moment she knows you, she stops feeling you. The mystery keeps her coming back, not for answers, but for energy. 2. Her weakness for calm strength. Every woman subconsciously tests a man's composure, not to destroy him, but to feel his strength. Life throws chaos, emotions, and pressure her way daily. She doesn't want another source of chaos. She wants an anchor. When a man remains calm during conflict, his energy becomes her stability, and that calmness, it's intoxicating. A stoic man doesn't react emotionally. He responds with reason. He doesn't raise his voice, he lowers the tension. That's strength without aggression, control without ego. And women feel it deeply because it represents safety. A man who can remain still in storms becomes her emotional fortress. In psychology, this taps into the feminine need for security. A woman's emotions are waves. They rise, crash, and rise again. When a man stays grounded, she senses his leadership instinctively. That's why calmness is so rare and so magnetic. Weak men lose control when tested. Strong men breathe through the moment and let silence do the talking. Because calm isn't weakness, it's power restrained. When you master it, you trigger her feminine energy to soften naturally. She stops resisting and starts trusting. That's the quiet dominance every woman secretly craves, not force, but emotional control. 3. Her weakness for confidence without arrogance. Confidence without arrogance is irresistible. It's the balance between knowing your worth and not needing to prove it. Women can sense this difference instantly. Arrogance seeks attention. Confidence commands it. A truly confident man doesn't talk about what he'll do. He simply does. His presence alone communicates belief. He doesn't chase validation because he's already validated by his purpose. That's why women melt in the presence of calm, grounded confidence, and it radiates quiet assurance. Arrogant men puff their chest to hide insecurity. Confident men move like they belong even when they're silent. They look people in the eye, speak less, and act more. The stoic man embodies this. His strength isn't for display. It's a natural extension of self-mastery. Women are emotional radar systems. They pick up on tone, energy, posture, all the signals that reveal whether a man is centered or compensating. Confidence built on internal peace feels safe and attractive. Confidence built on ego feels loud and fragile. When you move through life with inner stability, women feel your freedom. They sense that you don't need them, but that you choose them. And that choice, backed by independence, activates one of her deepest feminine weaknesses, the desire to earn your attention. 4. Her weakness for masculine boundaries. Most men are terrified to say no to women. They fear rejection more than self-respect. But here's the truth. Women secretly crave men with boundaries. Boundaries are proof of inner strength. They show that your time, energy, and peace are valuable. When you stand by your limits calmly, you communicate leadership. You tell the world, I know my worth. A man without boundaries is easily controlled. A man with them commands respect without saying a word. That's why women test to see if you'll fold or hold. And when you hold, you become unforgettable. A Stoic man understands that saying no isn't rejection, it's direction. He doesn't let emotions, flattery, or beauty manipulate him out of his principles. That's what makes him different from the rest. His emotions don't lead him. His values do. Psychologically, women interpret boundaries as confidence. They may resist at first, but deep down they admire it. It's proof of discipline, something she instinctively respects. When you prioritize self-respect over approval, you flip the power dynamic naturally. She begins to see you not as another option, but as a standard. The truth is, boundaries don't push women away. They filter the wrong ones out and magnetize the right ones in. 5. Her weakness for masculine purpose. Purpose is the masculine man's heartbeat. Without it, everything, relationships, attraction, and identity, collapses. A man with no purpose drifts. A man with purpose draws. Women feel that difference before you even speak. When you're chasing your goals, improving yourself, and walking your own path, you radiate energy that says, I have direction. That direction gives women something powerful and emotional security. Because deep down, a woman doesn't fall in love with the man himself. She falls for what he represents. He becomes a symbol of leadership, stability, and progress. Stoicism teaches detachment from distractions, and few distractions are stronger than female validation. The man who keeps his mission first becomes rare because he's not seeking comfort. He's building an empire. Women feel that fire. They respect the man who doesn't bend his goals for affection. Psychologically, purpose creates polarity. The feminine is drawn to movement, growth, and power. When your life has direction, she wants to be part of that motion. She'll naturally begin to align with your path, not because you demanded it, but because she respects what drives you. When you live with purpose, you become the gravitational center of your world, and that's the man no woman forgets. 6. Her weakness for emotional control. Every woman tests emotional control, not consciously but instinctively. She wants to feel your emotional leadership. When she gets dramatic, distant, or emotional, she's unconsciously asking, can you handle me at my stormiest? The Stoic man doesn't mirror her chaos. He stays still. He listens without reacting. He doesn't get pulled into emotional traps because his peace isn't negotiable. That's what separates men who lead from men who chase. Emotional control is not suppression, and it's mastery. It's feeling deeply without being ruled by feelings. It's breathing before speaking. It's choosing calm over impulse. And that control creates polarity. Women feel safe around emotionally steady men because stability is the foundation of attraction. When you lose control, you lose respect. When you stay grounded, you gain both admiration and desire. Women equate calmness with leadership because it shows protection and certainty. In modern relationships, most men explode or withdraw under pressure. The Stoic man stands firm. He doesn't get high on approval or low on rejection. His self-worth isn't tied to her emotions. And that independence, that calm detachment, is one of the greatest masculine powers. It tells her, your emotions don't scare me. And that's when she feels safe, enough to surrender. 7. Her weakness for silence and self-restraint. In a noisy world, silence is power. Most men can't handle silence. They rush to fill it with words, jokes, or explanations. But the man who can sit comfortably in silence radiates a mysterious confidence. Women are emotional readers. They feel energy more than they hear words. So when your silence carries calm instead of anxiety, she senses control. Silence creates tension, the good kind. It makes her lean in. It gives her space to imagine, to crave, to guess. Self-restraint isn't weakness. It's emotional discipline. When she pushes your buttons and you don't flinch, she respects you. When she expects you to react and you don't, she gets intrigued. Because in that restraint, she sees power. The Stoic man understands that every word spent unnecessarily leaks energy. He doesn't chase validation through over-explaining. He lets his silence do the work. Psychologically, silence triggers curiosity and admiration. Women equate restraint with dominance, because control is rare. The man who doesn't chase pleasure, who doesn't overtalk or overshare, is signaling one thing: mastery. Your silence tells her, I don't need to perform to be valuable. That's why she starts thinking about you more. Not because you impressed her, but because she can't stop wondering what you're holding back. 8. Her weakness for scarcity. Scarcity is one of the oldest and most powerful laws of attraction. From ancient markets to modern dating apps, what's rare is always more desirable. A diamond is just a rock until its rarity makes it priceless. And the same psychology applies to men. The rarer your presence, the more valuable your energy becomes. Most men today live in constant availability. They text too quickly, call too often, and show up too easily. Their eagerness, though innocent, becomes predictable. And what's predictable becomes invisible. But when a man chooses to pull back, not out of manipulation, but from a place of self-respect, something magnetic happens. The silence of his absence starts to echo louder than any words could. She begins to think, why isn't he reaching out? Did I lose his interest? That inner curiosity triggers reactance, a psychological need to regain what feels withdrawn. A Stoic man doesn't play scarcity, he embodies it. His life revolves around purpose, not people. His time, energy, and attention are limited currencies, and he spends them wisely. That's what makes him valuable. He's not trying to be missed. He simply lives a life worth missing. When you stop chasing, when you prioritize your goals over validation, women begin to notice. They feel your detachment, your mystery, your quiet confidence, and they crave it. Scarcity makes your presence meaningful. It forces her to slow down, to appreciate, to earn your energy. Because here's the truth, men who are everywhere become background noise. But men who are rare, men who know their worth and guard their energy, become unforgettable. Melodies that echo in a woman's mind long after the music stops. 9. Her weakness for emotional depth. Excitement can spark attraction, but emotional depth, that's what keeps a woman's heart anchored. You see, excitement is easy. It's the first message, the playful tease, the charming confidence that makes her smile. But depth, real depth, that's what turns curiosity into connection and attraction into devotion. Women may be drawn to looks, charm, or confidence at first glance, but what truly binds them is something far rarer, emotional gravity. It's that quiet, steady energy that comes from a man who has lived, lost, learned, and evolved. A Stoic man with depth doesn't compete for attention. He commands it, not through noise, but through stillness. He's not the one who boasts, but the one who listens when no one else does. He doesn't need to dominate the room because his presence already fills it. There's something about him that says, I've seen storms and I've survived them. His calm isn't weakness. It's evidence of strength refined through pain. His silence isn't emptiness, it's understanding. Women feel this energy. They can't always explain it, but they sense it. It feels grounding, safe, rare. It's the type of energy that makes a woman relax her shoulders, breathe easier, and trust her instincts. Because deep down, every woman is looking for that. Not perfection, but peace. Not a man who's flawless, but one who's real. A man who doesn't flinch at vulnerability. Who can handle tears without discomfort. Who can sit in silence without needing to fill it. That's emotional depth. It's not about being overly emotional or soft. It's about awareness. The ability to feel deeply without being controlled by those feelings. To understand without judgment. To listen without ego. To connect without attachment. Depth is forged in the fires of life. It's born from heartbreaks that didn't harden you but humbled you. From failures that didn't break you but built you. From pain that didn't turn you bitter but wise. Every scar you carry becomes silent proof of your growth. And women, consciously or not, are drawn to that authenticity like gravity. Psychologically, emotional depth signals safety and strength. It tells her you won't crumble under pressure or flee at the sight of vulnerability. It tells her that when life gets heavy, you'll stay grounded, that you can hold space for her chaos without losing your center. And here's the truth most men never understand. When a woman feels emotionally seen, she bonds. When she feels emotionally safe, she stays. You don't have to convince her, chase her, or perform for her. Your presence does the work. Because a man with depth doesn't seek validation, he radiates it. He doesn't chase connection, he becomes connection. His energy alone speaks volumes. In a world full of men trying to impress women with status, looks, and noise, a man with depth stands out not because he's louder, but because he's still. Because while everyone else is trying to be heard, he's busy understanding. And that's the paradox of attraction. When you stop trying to be what women want, and simply become a man who understands himself, That's when they feel drawn to you without knowing why. Because emotional depth isn't something you say, it's something you are. It's the quiet confidence that whispers, "I don't need you to complete me. I already am whole." And that kind of man is unforgettable. Conclusion. In the end, understanding a woman's weaknesses isn't about manipulation, it's about mastery. Not of her, but of yourself. Because when you master your own emotions, energy, and presence, attraction becomes effortless. A woman's energy mirrors yours. If you're grounded, she feels safe. If you're anxious, she feels uncertain. If you're calm, she trusts you. And if you're lost, she pulls away. She doesn't respond to your words more, she responds to your state. That's why the Stoic path is so powerful in relationships. It teaches one eternal truth: you can't control her emotions, only your response to them. And your response defines your power. Calmness is your weapon. Purpose is your compass. Discipline is your foundation. Silence is your test. And restraint is your ultimate strength. Because in restraint, you show control. And control is what women interpret as confidence. When you embody these Stoic principles, you stop chasing women. They start noticing you. Your energy shifts from needy to magnetic. You no longer seek attention because your presence commands it. You no longer beg for love because your peace already radiates it. And here's the truth most men ignore. Women aren't really attracted to what you do for them. They're attracted to how your energy makes them feel about themselves. If she feels safe where she opens up. If she feels inspired, she follows your lead. If she feels seen, she gives her trust. If she feels respected, and she gives her heart. So stop chasing approval. Stop proving your worth. The moment you start living with calm confidence, with purpose in your steps and silence in your strength, everything changes. You become the man who doesn't need to impress because his energy already does. You move through the world with quiet certainty. You speak less, but everything you say carries weight. That's masculine presence, the art of stillness in motion. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable. So live with purpose. Move with mystery. Let your actions speak louder than your words. And remember, when you stop trying to impress women, you start to attract them effortlessly. And with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.